is supposed to be social. It's about being social. It's about engaging with people. When a person is commenting on your post, replying to comments, when a person is interacting with you in messages, messaging them back, interacting with them, asking questions in the caption that you're posting are all really effective tools to really engage with your audience and make them feel like you're a real person. Nobody wants to follow a robot. Nobody wants to follow just someone that is always just posting things and never talking back. Social media is supposed to be social. Even when it comes to the next point, finding and joining groups. Facebook is a platform that really allows you to do this really effectively, finding groups with people of similar interests. There's so many groups on Facebook, even starting your own group on Facebook. I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with different groups or have joined any groups on Facebook or have used this, but this can be a really effective tool in building community, which is what social media is all about. And when it comes back to building your personal brand, joining and being a part of communities and engaging in conversations with people of like minds is how you do that. If you are interested in making t-shirts or making shirts, engaging with other people who are designers, who are fashion designers, people that really understand what you're talking about, and not just understand what you're talking about, but are passionate about the same thing. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be light. You're supposed to engage and be social, as I mentioned. And the last 2 points really comes back to a lot of what I've already talked about. Keeping your brand voice, image, and tone consistent. That comes back to the consistency, but also how you present yourself. You have to show up and be consistent. And also studying influencers. I say this, or I wanted to bring this when it comes to building your personal brand, because there are so many people that exist in social media already. As I mentioned, social media has grown to become such a large component of how we navigate and interact with the world digitally online today, and even in person today. And with that being said, there are so many people that are of like minds as you. As I said, there's so many communities that you can join. And there are people that have become really successful at almost any space. I see you with the earrings, beautiful earrings. There's so many people that have similar interests, who have fashion, who have style, and there's so many people who have created brands and created opportunities just off things like earrings and having unique earrings. And studying those people and being able to engage with those people and say, hey, this is something that I want to do. It's okay to look at people and say, this is something that I want to do. How can I now take what they're doing and maybe add my own spin, add my own flavor, add my own unique ideas and components and creativity to it to make it my own? But that doesn't mean that we have to always reinvent the wheel. There are people that have been successful, and there are tools and tips and tricks that we can use to leverage when it comes to creating our own personal brand. This is the exercise that I kind of want you guys to just think about a little bit. Right now, kind of just think about the platforms that you're on and their opportunity, as we've kind of talked about different ones. As I mentioned, each platform has a unique opportunity. Each platform is a little bit different, has built their own niche. Think about the platforms that you're currently using and maybe some platforms that you may want to get on and the opportunity that exists and how you can grow on there. Now, when you think about what you're doing currently, what does your page say about you right now? Are you the type of person where you're just posting, maybe going out with friends, maybe you're just posting food? When someone comes to your page, really look at it from an outsider's perspective and understand how people are looking at you. What does your page say about you? And then what do you want your page to say about you? Because then this can begin to allow us to begin to shift and see what direction we want to go into. And third, who are the people that you follow and engage with? When you go into your social media feed, is it all friends? Is it all people that you know personally? Is it maybe celebrities? Is it maybe other influencers? Or maybe people that you just really enjoy their style or their fashion or their hair, and you're using social media as a means to get inspiration? Think about the people that you follow and think about what they're offering to you. When you go to their page, what does it say about them? Now later we're going to kind of build out an exercise that will allow you or kind of push you to update your bio. This is one of the first things or messagings that a person sees when they come to your page. Your bio, as I mentioned, is at the the top of pretty much every social media platform. And a lot of times, those first words that people see is going to tell the story of who you are and what you're doing. So you want to have a strong idea of what you want to place here. You don't have a lot of space. It's literally going to be a sentence, maybe 10 words. But we're going to begin to think about what we want to put there, how we want to update our bio. And then another component that I really wanted to bring as well, I'm not sure how many of you are on Instagram, if you guys have business accounts on Instagram, but this is a feature that I feel like not a lot of people have tapped into. But simply changing your account type on Instagram, when a lot of people start on Instagram or start on a lot of these platforms, they start as a personal account. It's just something within the settings automatically when you start. It's a personal account. You can make it private. You can make it public. But changing your account type to that of a creator or business account within settings is going to unlock one thing that I think is going to be really strong when it comes to building a platform and growing on social media, and that is analytics. Now with my account, I'm able to see the people that follow me. I'm able to see general demographics. I can see how old they are. I can see where they're from. I'm from New York, so most of the people that follow me are from New York. I can gain those insights. I have some people that follow me from California or from London or wherever. But having access to these insights is going to be really helpful in understanding how I can grow. Because when I now post something, I can be talking directly to the people in London. I know that 10% of my audience lives in the UK. There's a huge event going on in the UK. There's an opportunity for me to jump into this space and really talk about something that's happening over there. Having access to that insight is super valuable in informing me of what I want to post and what I want to create and the people that would really be interested in what I create. I can also see demographics such as age, race, also gender. If I know that most of my followers are guys, I'm not going to be posting hair videos and tutorials on how to braid your hair or what a wash day looks like. I'm not going to be posting earrings or women's fashion. So having access to these insights is going to be really valuable in helping you understand what you can post or what you should be posting and where you want to grow as well. All right, so let's get into developing a strong content strategy. This is the fun part because this is where we're getting into, all right, I understand, what it takes to create a personal brand. I understand what the brand is that I want to create. Now, I've also identified, what is the area of expertise that I want to really leverage or move into. Now, how do I actually, create content that people are going to engage with or that people are going to enjoy or that is going to be strong? It starts, as I mentioned before, with one of the most important components, and that's audience research. You want to do background. You want to understand and really define who your audience is and what are their interests. You want to know how they think. You want to know what are the things they want to see. As I said, if I have my audience of guys, they're not going to be interested in a lot of things. A lot of things that I mentioned. Maybe they're going to be interested in men's fashion. Maybe they're going to be interested in men's grooming. Maybe they're going to be interested in, this barbershop that I found that, I don't have hair, but they're going to be interested in this barbershop that I found that does super cool or sick haircuts, that does all the crazy things that you can do with your hair and your beard. So doing some research into your audience and what they're interested in is going to be one of the first steps in developing a strong strategy. Another component is creating a mood board. As a creative, this is something that we do. This is a tool that we use whenever we're leveraging or building out new projects. Mood boarding through platforms like Pinterest. I don't know how many of you are on Pinterest or have Pinterest accounts. It's a super easy platform. It's really just essentially a library of imagery or things that exist on social media that you can create and curate into different boards. And creating a mood board, simple mood boards, I'll show you later more specifically how to do this, can be a really strong tool in kind of setting the tone and building out the strategy. What you're going to add to it are, the different type of content that inspires you or that is inspiring this project. You're going to add to it color palettes and other visuals that really help shape the direction that you want to go into with your content. Themes. Different than a mood board, themes is something that I use very strongly when it comes to developing content for brands. Now let's say how I use social media. I'm using social media as a personal branding tool for me to position myself as I can be a men's fashion influencer. I can be a men's grooming influencer. And I'm using that to position myself to work with brands where they're coming to me and saying, hey, you create this type of content. We want to partner with you and collaborate with you to keep creating the type of content that you do really well. Like I said, they can send you free things. They can pay you to create this content. That is one way that you can use social media. Another way is to work with companies and helping them grow their platforms. Because a lot of companies, that's a tool or thing that they haven't really mastered. And they need people that are creative. They need people that have strong strategy to help them build their business online as well. And themes is one component that I use a lot within that. When it comes to building a strategy, stamping out different pillars. So I'll say, hey, one theme that I want to have recurring within my content or within my social media pages is I want to, on a weekly basis, have a quote. These are good because they really help to inspire my audience. And there's something that, you have a question. Okay, what's your question? Feel free to go ahead, jump in. No. This is something that is going to be ongoing. Your audience research, your audience as you're growing is constantly updating. You may have 5 new people that follow you that completely throw off what you thought your demographic was. So this is something that you're constantly doing, and your audience research is something that you're doing on a lot of these platforms themselves. It's not that you're going to some other, tool or using another resource. You can to, stamp out and pull a lot of this audience research components. But your audience research is something that you're doing daily. Who are the people that are commenting on your posts? Who are the people that are liking your posts? What are they saying? That is all components of audience research, and it's something that you're doing ongoing that you never want to stray away from, because this is constantly informing of what you should continue to doing, what is strong, what is going to allow you to keep growing, and what people like about you or say about you. So that's something that's ongoing, for sure. You want to start it at the beginning, and you want to keep going throughout. Okay. Themes and platform, as I mentioned, different themes within different in building out your content is going to be really strong. As I mentioned, if I want to build out a pillar or a theme within my social media content that says I want to do a theme about, I want to continue doing content that is about shaving, and people are really interested in learning tips and how to shave and not cut yourself. That can be one theme that I'm stamping out. When I say theme is when people come to my page and they see this type of content, they know what to look for, what to expect from me, because I'm consistently bringing this out. And themes is just a way or tool that you can use to stay consistent, be strong, and make sure when people come to you, they know what they can find. Platforms, as I mentioned before, is just understanding and strategizing on what platforms serve and offer opportunity to you and what you can really leverage in each of them. Timing, making sure you post visuals and social at peak times. Think about big picture too. Will you need more content, visual content around certain holidays? Timing is super important. This is another thing that insights that these platforms bring to you. They will tell you your followers are on social media most between the hours of 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. throughout the day. You want to post between these times because that's when you get the most engagement. That's when they will like your post. That's when they'll comment posts on your post. And also, as we're thinking about different things that are happening, as I mentioned, when I'm pulling out a lot of these insights, I'm thinking about what is going to be most valuable to my audience. If something is happening, as I mentioned, in New York, if something is happening in California, and I know that my followers are from there, I'm thinking about that from a timing perspective. There's certain holidays that only exist in certain areas that I may want to tap to and leverage because my audience may be engaging in those holidays, engaging in those different events and things like that going on. So that's another strong component of how you're building out a strong content strategy. And then lastly, the tools that you're using to really execute this is going to be really helpful. Implementing a content calendar. And this is something that is going to be, this is a really strong tool that I use in staying consistent. This is a really strong tool that I use in also working with brands, because this allows me to showcase to them what is it that I'm actually going to be posting, what is it that we're actually going to be working towards, and just stamping out that plan. We'll get into that in a little bit more depth a little later on, but this is a very crucial tool in how you really turn social media from just kind of the casual thing that you talk to your friends on and really turn it into a business or service that you can offer. All right, so conducting research. You brought up a very good question, and these are the things that you want to look for when you're conducting your research. As I mentioned, it's going to start when you're first starting building your page, and be consistent throughout. But this is how to look, and this is who to look for. Who are the current leaders or sources of inspiration in the space? Who are the people that you follow? If you are into basketball, who are the basketball people that have really engaging content and that people really enjoy? Maybe these are people with 100,000, 200,000 followers that you're saying, hey, they're not really doing anything too different from me. I play basketball. I'm really passionate about it. I can really engage and develop content similarly. And this is a really good place to start, finding inspiration from sources and from other people, and how you can really is a very important component in building and conducting research. You want to think about how do they engage with their audience, how do they present their content visually. These are all components when you're going to their page that you are able to pick up if you really think about it in these ways. Ask these questions when you visit some of these pages that you really enjoy following, or some of these people that you really enjoy following. How do they really talk to their audience? What do people really interact and engage with? As I mentioned, social media has become a tool that a lot of people have used to leverage business. But with that, social media has become a really good insight resource and platform for a lot of people and brands. So you want to begin asking these questions and thinking about these as you're going through these different pages and conducting your research. Other things to look for: how often do they post? Some people, I don't know about you, some people I follow literally post 5 times a day. And these are the people that it gets almost annoying to a point where it's like, I'm constantly seeing bang, 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 new picture, new picture, new picture. Some people, it works for them. Some people, they found really strong success in posting 3 times a day. Some people post just 2 times a week and are consistent in that. But whatever that cadence is, this is all a component in conducting and building your research. And this is going to allow you to know how to build out your strategy if they're in a similar industry or space. People that are posting, accounts that are posting memes and media accounts like magazine accounts or different digital platforms, you'll notice they post 10 times a day because their audience are looking for that content, looking for content at that cadence. People that are fashion bloggers or that are into fashion or hair, they might post once a day. They might post 3 times a week because their audience, their industry is different. So all of these components come into play when you're building out your strategy, because different industries have different best practices and different tricks and tools that you should use or that you should keep in mind when you're building out your strategy. And all of this comes back to how would you or what would you like to implement in an account that you create or manage. And as I mentioned before, what is the best place to conduct research? On the platforms you're using, as you're using them. You're gaining insight and drawing analytics from the platform that you're using them. As you're on Instagram, how are people engaging? You're thinking about these things. You're saving different posts. Instagram has a really cool feature where you can save posts for later. I have used this religiously throughout the day, and I'll create different folders within the platforms where I'm like, I want to create a TikTok reel like this a week from now. I'm going to save this for later. The way this person presented this advertisement is really cool. I love the way that it's designed. I love the way that they captioned it. I love the text that they use and how they created it. I'm going to save that in a folder and save that for later. I'm constantly thinking about social media and using social media as a way to not just publish information, but also to draw insights and gain inspiration from as well. We can go to the next one. All right, so building a mood board. I know that we kind of talked about these different components in building a strategy. But this is going to get into the nitty-gritty of what this looks like and how this really is presented. Because as I said, as a creative, I don't know how many photographers, how many designers that we have here, but this is a really good tool that I've used and leveraged a lot in order to develop what I'm doing and be able to present it. When I'm going to a brand and pitching a brand on a specific project or a piece of content, this is a tool that I'm showing them before I even have to do any of the work. This is something that allows them to see, hey, this is the direction and the idea. This is the feel that we want to go with this piece of content that we're creating. And this is something that I can show and get a deposit for, get paid for before I even have to create the content, because they have an idea of what I'm proposing. Many of you guys in business, you guys know about proposal decks. You guys know about how building those out and how these are things and tools that you use to, present to a company or present to a program or project before you actually do the work to make sure that everyone is aligned with what this looks like. Building a mood board is just like that for creatives. As you see with this example, this is just a random assortment of imagery and colors. They have some text there that kind of depict what they're going for. They wanted a very cozy feel with this photo shoot or whatever project that they're doing. So they use a lot of imagery and colors that is very warm, a lot of browns, oranges. And these are the things that you're just creating. It doesn't have to make sense. Everyone does mood boards differently. You have, can do it whatever style or way that you look like. But just taking some imagery, this can come from Pinterest, this can come from Instagram, from screenshots, this can come from anywhere. Putting it on a specific board or graphic to really tell the story and kind of give everyone a feel of the aesthetic or the feel that you want to present with this new content piece is going to be really strong in allowing you to create and create more effectively. Platforms that I would recommend you guys check out, definitely if you don't have a Pinterest account, join Pinterest. It's a very easy platform. Pinterest.com, create an account. This is a very strong platform in creating mood boards. Why? Because they have a really large assortment of imagery that already exists on the platform. So literally all you're doing is typing in, hey, I want to, develop a mood board around, I want to develop a mood board around a new hairstyle that I want to present or do or work on or have for myself. I'm going to type in hairstyles or braid hairstyles, long braid hairstyles, be specific as possible. And they're going to show me a whole list of imagery that I can just press a single button to add to a specific mood board that I'm creating or building out. So it's a very easy platform. Definitely recommend if you don't have an account. That is one account or one platform that I would definitely utilize or that I utilize a lot as well. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Roger just brought up an extremely good point. You can go back to the mood board slide. Thank you. Another really effective way that a mood board is used, as I mentioned, this is a way for you to present and propose content to brands or people that you're working with. But what a mood board really depicts is the emotion and the feel of what you're doing. As you see here, they wanted something that felt cozy. They used imagery of a girl wrapped in a blanket. They used coffee. A lot of times when people think of coffee, they think of something that's warm and hot. They used colors and imagery that depicted warmer tones. Maybe seasonally you'll add images in there of summertime or anything like that. What this does is really convey the feeling of what you're going for, the direction that you're referencing with whatever it is that you're looking to create. This doesn't have to be an exact example of what it is that you're creating, but this can be just a representation of the feeling that you want to evoke and the feeling that you want to portray, the feeling that you want to develop in the content that you're creating. Okay, so creating a content calendar, as I mentioned, has been a very strong tool in one. When we talk about being consistent on social media, for a lot of people, it comes down to, I don't know what to post. I don't know how to, keep up with posting 1 time a day, 2 times a day, 3 times a day, especially if I really want to brand myself really strongly. What are systems and tools that I can use to make this more effective and make this a lot easier? Building out a content calendar is one thing that I've used. there are a lot of different platforms that allow you to do this very easily. But what a content calendar essentially holds is you can sit down for 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, and instead of saying, I have to post one post a day, so every day I'm thinking of a new post, I can sit down for 3 hours a day, plan out all the posts that I'm going to create for the next week or two, and hit publish or schedule them out. A lot of content calendar platforms as well allow you to be able to schedule posts in and say, hey, I want my posts to show up on people's feeds at 12 o'clock p.m. every day for the next week, once a day. I can create a content calendar that holds all the imagery, holds all the copy, is designated and set for whatever time or date schedule that I want to utilize or publish my content on. And a lot of platforms too also allow you to insert a comment. So if you want your first comment on every single post to be, hey, I just posted this picture on Instagram, also check out my YouTube channel, and you can link them back to another platform that you use. A lot of these platforms allow you to insert that initial comment as well, so that whenever it's being posted, it's automatically there. And when you're thinking about social media as a way that you can leverage and develop business from, you really want to think about the tools and systems that you can implement to do it in a very strong and easy way. One platform that I use is called Asana. This is a free platform that, as I mentioned, allows you to really implement a lot of the imagery or insert a lot of the imagery and copy and text that you want to publish and just do it in bulk. Also, one really important component about developing a content calendar is that when you're working with brands, this is one thing that they're going to look for and ask for. I, right now, manage a few Instagram accounts for different brands and people. And what I essentially have to do is at the top of each month, I'm putting together a content calendar that says all the posts that we're going to create, all the captions for each of these different posts, and I'm presenting it to them for them to approve it, disapprove it. When I'm designing content in bulk. I'm not just sitting and designing each post or each advertisement at one time, but I'm saying I want to create the next 10 pieces, and let's schedule this out so that we can publish this and have this go live for the next 2 weeks, next month. And this is, like I said, this is one of the ways that you can really turn social media into a system and create business from it now. Asana is one platform that I use. Sprout Social is another platform that I would definitely recommend you guys writing down, checking out. This is a scheduling platform that allows you to schedule your content, have it being published automatically, and not have to worry about it. Okay. So as I mentioned, I do work with a few different brands. So I really, in this workshop, in this presentation as well, not just wanted to give you guys just, overview of what it is that we're looking to do, whether it's creating a content calendar or whether it's developing different themes or pillars. But I wanted to kind of show you guys as well an example of what this looks like and how this is really implemented with a brand that I've worked with in the past. So the next few slides is just giving me an example of it. Okay, question. Can we go back? One slide. Okay, no, that's a really good question, because a lot of people that use Excel do think of it as just numbers and think of Excel as just a platform where it's just like we're inputting data, we're doing different calculations and things like that. But Excel, you can think of it as larger than that. You can think of it also as just a grid, a platform that allows you to really organize content, organize things in a manner that is very organized and grid-like. Excel does allow you to insert imagery into, and there are templates within Excel actually that are built out to not just be for numbers, but have imagery inserted in as well. So when you go into a lot of Excel platforms, there will be a section, instead of just opening, a blank document, you can open a template that Excel provides. And a lot of these templates are built in a way where you can use them to manage, other resources. A lot of people use them for scheduling as well, to manage a schedule for a specific event. You can use through Excel. And similarly, Any platform that allows you to just be organized and organize your content is a platform that you can use to develop your content calendar from, because that's what it really comes down to. You just essentially want to get to a place where you are able to look at one piece of document, one sheet, and say, these are the next 10 things that are going to be published. I know that when I'm publishing a specific content, the things that I need to know is the time that it's going to be posted, the caption that I'm going to use for it, the imagery that is going to be published, and maybe whatever other insights or information that I want to incorporate in it. So any way that you can just organize that data is going to be really effective in allowing you to build out this system. So it really is about, looking at Excel as just, a platform that is larger than just numbers and calculations. But how can you use it in a way to just be more organized, and a platform that it just allows you to be more organized. Okay, we can go on to the next slide. As I mentioned, I want to show you guys an example of a brand that I've worked with in the past. So this is a brand called Syrup and Rose. They're a lifestyle brand focused on merging style and function with social impact. They essentially are leather goods and accessories brands that is really strong on African manufacturing and leveraging the power and innovation that African manufacturing holds to bring really good quality leather goods and accessories and bags to the world, essentially. And this is a strategy that I had built out for them in the past. And this will show you a really good example of what it looks like when we're talking about building themes when building a content strategy. This will also show you examples of how we built up that mood board and what exactly I presented to them to say, hey, I can do this for you. I want to get paid for this. I want to get paid for building out social media content for you. This is how you can really present this to companies. So this is what we started off with. I said, hey, there are themes within social media that we can really utilize on your page specifically. These are the areas that I think would be strong. These are the different content types that I think could be really cool that your audience would really like. They are, like I said, a leather goods and accessories brand. So I started off with developing what is the story that we want to tell and shape within their social media, within their feed. I presented 6 core content categories or content themes, starting with product imagery. We wanted to incorporate imagery that really told the story of what the product was, imagery that really strongly conveyed the quality of the leather that they used, that really strongly conveyed the different usages or maybe people wearing the product. Another component or another content category that we wanted to develop was influencer and customer highlight. Whenever somebody got their new bag and posted a picture on Instagram, we wanted to create a content theme on our page that reposted their pictures that said, hey, we see you wearing our bags, and we're really happy to engage with you in our community. This is another component that I mentioned before about social media being social. You want to engage. You want to talk to people. You want to make people feel good. When you see somebody doing something, it's okay to repost them. It's okay to use your platform to now amplify them as well. Another content theme that we developed was a brand and lifestyle theme. So different than product imagery, this was photo and video content that really told the story of the brand. As I mentioned, we're really strong on manufacturing. How are we telling that story? And what are we utilizing to really tell the story of the brand from a brand perspective and lifestyle perspective? Also, sales and announcement was another content theme that we built out. Anytime that we had a sale, this is a content category that we developed on their page that was just advertisements or was just static posts that they were able to publish that said, hey, we have a sale going on. But we wanted to make sure that we define this content category because this was something that we really felt was important when we wanted to have a really strong style. And that's the thing, when you're building out these different themes too, you're thinking about what is the style of each one? What is the feel of each one? You can build out a mood board for each one, because each of these is telling a different stories or conveying a different message to your audience. Another theme was the retail experience. They had a store in person as well, or a brick and mortar store. So we wanted to tell the story of, not just when you're shopping online and buying something online, but what is the feel, or what are the things that we have in store that are enhancing the experience? When someone is inside shopping and we have a certain display, what does that look like? What are we conveying with that? We wanted to kind of bring people into the story, even if they haven't never been into the story. And then another really strong content category that was really fun to do as well that we built out was traveling with select roles. As I mentioned, they're really strong on African manufacturing. So we really wanted to bring our audience to those different places where the product was being manufactured. And this sheet, essentially, these different themes, this is what I presented to them. This is what I said, hey, I want to work with you guys. I have really strong and really good ideas of, different content and creative things that we can create. This is what I'm thinking we can do. Let me know your thoughts. Let's talk back. Let's build this up. Building out the strategy is how you can leverage social media to gain business, because this is what you can present to companies, present to brands, and this is what will allow them to say, hey, this person has really great ideas. I want to work with this person further. I want to see what they create from that. Let's go to the next slide. And this is just further in depth. In that deck that I essentially showed them, I included not just an overview of what that content looked like, but example of each one. So when we're talking about building out a mood board, this is what we're talking about. When we're talking about building out different content and inspiration, we're showing examples. Creating a sheet like this, it doesn't have to be any super elaborate, but this is something that you can, like I said, show and present to brands that really tell the story of the strategy that you're building. And this is kind of some of the final results of what this Instagram content looked like. So as you'll see, we implemented some of those sales and announcement pieces. We implemented the product imagery. We implemented some of the travel imagery. We implemented a lot of the content pieces that we talked about and discussed. And this is how it shows up. This is how you can really develop and create a character and feel and aesthetic around the content that you're creating. So when a person comes to this page, this is the story that we're telling them. They know that we create leather goods because of the product that we do. They know that we are really strong on African manufacturing and really are looking to develop different artisans and different craftsmen in different regions by some of these images that we posted that depict that. They also know that we were featured in different magazines and that we have different announcements or sales going on because we created posts that tell that story. So this is what we're talking about when we say build out a strategy or build out content that really tells the story of what you're looking to convey and tell the story of the brand. We go to the next slide. Okay, cool. So we're wrapping up here in terms of, the workshop on mastering social media. But two last points that I wanted to make sure we hit to really allow you to understand the best practices when it comes to developing your social media strategy, creating your personal brand. As I mentioned before, understanding analytics is a huge piece of that. Some of the key terms that it's good to understand when it comes to understanding these analytics is what these different things mean and how they're being viewed and looked at. Obviously, you guys know what a like is, what a retweet is, what a comment is. Those are simple metrics that we use to determine engagement. Those are simple metrics that we use to determine how people are engaging with our content, how they like our content, what they're saying about our content. And the more we get of these, the better a post performs, or the better we determine a post has performed. Other metrics that we use that you may not have heard of, but are also key metrics, are impressions. Impressions represent how many times a post has shown up in someone's timeline. So just because a post shows up on your feed doesn't mean, or someone's feed doesn't mean that they always like it or comment it. And if we see that based on our impressions or the impressions that we got, our post showed up on 2,000 people's feeds and only 2 of them liked it, that tells us something. If we see based on our impressions metric that our post showed up on 2,000 people's feeds and 1,800 of them liked it, that tells us something. that that post was good, that that post was engaging, people enjoyed that content. That's content that we want to create and keep creating. Another metric that is a good metric to look at is reach. This is the potential viewers a post could have achieved. So when it comes to, I'm sure you guys have heard about the algorithm. When it comes to, having a really strong hold on what the algorithm is. If you have 60,000 followers, you'll notice a lot of these platforms, your post isn't going to show up on 60,000 people's feeds. The reach is essentially the potential amount of people that it could have shown up with, and your impressions will represent the amount of people that it actually showed up on. What this tells us, though, what reach is important for, though, is it shows us the expanse of our audience. If we have an audience of 60,000, that is still a strong metric to indicate. Even if we're not actively posting things, even if they're not actively engaging with us in that way, understanding that we have that reach is a metric that we can use to now leverage and work with brands. When a brand is coming to you and saying, oh, you have a reach of $2,000, of 2,000 followers, you can get paid a certain amount. When a brand comes to you and says you have a reach of 200,000 followers, you can get paid a certain amount for posting something. And then we'll wrap up in about a minute. And post engagement rate, as I mentioned, these are just additional metrics that you can use. If you want to snap a picture of this, definitely you can and look back and reference this. But these are just the rates that really tell you how people are engaging with their content. As I mentioned, if it shows up on someone's feed, 1,000 people's feeds, and only 2 people engage with it, that is a low engagement rate. If it shows up on 1,000 people's feeds and 1,000 people engage with it, that is a very high and beautiful engagement rate, and that tells you something. So the next slide, this is going to be the final slide. Working with brands, we kind of talked about it throughout the entire presentation, but I really want to just hit home what working with brands looks like, how social media can really be leveraged as a tool, and what are the opportunities that exist within it. As an influencer, you're developing content and being gifted or paid to post when tagging a brand. If Yeezy, I don't know how many of you guys have some Yeezys. If Yeezy reached out to me and said, hey, Isaiah, we like the content that you post. We want to send you some sneakers for you to publish to your followers because we know that as an influencer, you have a strong influence and your followers would want to purchase just because they see you wearing something. You are an influencer. You are working as an influencer for that brand. And that is an opportunity where you can get paid for posting. You can get gifted for posting. And that really comes from having a strong personal brand and allowing brands to be able to come to you and say, we know what you're about, we like what you're about aligns with what we're about, and we want to connect, we want to collaborate. Another way to work with brands and use social media as a tool to leverage and create opportunity is as a marketer and consultant. As I mentioned before, I manage pages for a few different companies right now, and this is the role that I'm essentially working in, where I'm going to brands and I'm saying, hey, I know that you want to grow on social media. I know that you have a product or service that you want people to know about. You want to utilize social media as a tool to generate sales. You want to grow your page, grow your following. I am good at creating strategy. I am a creative. I know how to create content. I'm a designer. I know how to design content. And I can build out a strategy for you. This is something that you can do and get paid for. This is something that brands will come to you for and that you can create opportunity through as well. If you have any skills, if you have any creative skills, if you have a photographer, if you're an artist, you can come to these brands and say, hey, I know how social media works. I've been doing this. I know what this looks like. I just received a whole presentation about, putting together a content calendar and putting together a strategy. I know what it takes to build out a really strong social media strategy, and I can do this for you. That is what you're going to say to brands, and they're going to be like, hey, okay, put together a deck, put together some ideas, let's talk about this, let's see how we can really leverage our social media, and we're going to pay you to put that together for us. We're going to pay you to also, what I do as well, manage our account as well. We're going to pay you to say, we don't want to worry about posting, we don't want to worry about any of that stuff. I want you to strategize all the content. I want you to build out the content calendar. I want you to even post on Instagram and Facebook for us. Be our voice, be our messenger, be our manager. And that's just another route or way that you can utilize social media and create really strong opportunity digitally, anywhere in the world. You can work with brands all across the world and pay for it. Tomorrow as well, where we really get into how to create, how to design content. Also get even further into building business and how to create and leverage a business. As I mentioned before, understanding contracts, how to reach out to brands as well, how to send those emails, what to say. We're going to get into all that stuff and really how to leverage social media in just a strong way. But I thank you guys. You guys have been a really incredible crowd. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys got something out of this. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Thomas, as well.
Another round of applause. Sure. Great. So we have part 2 tomorrow, and like Isaiah said, we'll try to dive and be a little bit slower to understand how to do this and this. So we are hoping we can able to create more time tomorrow. And I know a number of you have questions, but please quickly, I hope each one of you have received this form. This is our data collection form. We will try to look at it and inform of what we need to do next. And just one more correction, the last one, if you see, the second last one says, what social media platform do you currently use? So that looks to be repeated, but it should read, what platform do you currently use? So there's social media platforms and also what platforms you currently use. So the first ones, you can see Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, but the other one is now what you can able to use to create some of this platform, whether it's graphic design, photography, entrepreneurship, with it away, because it means that you deprive the relevant information that we need to look into. So make sure you leave this form, we'll collect this form, and then we'll go and analyze this data, and then we'll let you know of the next steps. At this point in time, shall we put our hands together as we welcome God servant, Pastor Ben, to come and help us launch this program that we are believing God that will keep looking into it and see how we can able to build into it.
Hallelujah. Please be seated. I know some of us have followed that. I call it brief because it was not very long. I wish it was longer. And just as Pastor Thomas have said, well, he just stood me confidence. Tomorrow will be more practical. Amen? Are you following me? Where most of what we have been taught now will be broken down to us practically, so that you can be able to relate what was done today to reality by tomorrow. Is that okay? So that it is not just story, but you are able to participate fully. Amen? Is somebody following me? I'm excited about this because this is a little bit fairly new to us. And I call it an opportunity that we can explore. Especially for majority of us that sleep with your phones and wake up with it. And the only advantage that phone is to you is to drain your money for calls. So you can use that now to do what? To make money. Is somebody hearing me? So you can turn what seems to be a disadvantage in a way to you now to what? to business. Tell somebody business. Thank you so much, Isaiah, for, explaining those plenty opportunities to us. Maybe I should just resign as a pastor and be part of it. Oh, you think pastors don't want money? We do. We do. And as I was sitting there, I think I'm going to rebrand myself because of what I carry. So that a lot of people, I can have more than enough followers. I think that's where I am missing it. They only know me as pastor. I want to rebrand myself altogether and use social media so that I can make something better. Everyone says 13 hours, we're going to be here. And I'm sure after tomorrow, you will know what to do with your phone, because that's the tool you carry to be able to reach the world. And now the content and everything will be taught us, and then we can begin to use it productively. I'm an advocate of don't go to social media. They know all of them. If I see you there, because it drains their money. They sleep with it morning till night. They're just laughing and chatting, not thinking. But I think all of that is about to change now, isn't it? Where it becomes productive. Amen? I think that's very, very good. Praise God. And having said that, I think one of the things I need to do here is to officially launch this program to say that this program is open. This program is available. And I want every one of us to key into it and begin to change the way we think so that we can begin to change where we are. Because if we're able to do that, then you will discover that in the next, just like Isaiah told us, in the next 3 years, like the example you gave us, no one is expected to be where they are now. If we understood what we've just been taught and what this entire program is all about. Before in the name of God the Father, the Son, it is open, isn't it? Praise God. No, I have not said so yet. Before I will go there, I'd like to thank Mr. Dr. Raja Kaur. Thank you so much for coming and for extending your goodwill to us and seeing that we young people rise and your great passion for Africa. God bless you so much. I'm so happy about that. The Lord will bless you for us. How many of you know that he was once here in Zambia? Did you hear him say so? Mm-hmm. And he's coming back to plug into us. The Lord bless you. Thank you so very much. So I want to, on the behalf of the church, this program is officially launched to do us good. Pastor Thomas, thank you so much for what you are doing. In case, permit me to say, in case you have not been able to capture the data of everybody, I don't know how you're going to do it so that those who are not already there should come on board through this meeting. I know quite a number of them are part of this move, Kingdom Ambassador Network, but I think it's better in case, maybe because I know the program we had, we invited some other people to come and listen. How many of you are here for the first time? Or you are here for the first time? Can I see your hand? First time. Wow, that's wonderful. So we can go around and capture those people and get them on board so that it benefits everyone. For those of us that have been here before, if those that are coming here now overtakes you, we will drive you away from the church. Please make something good for yourself. Thank you so much. God bless you. Put your hands together. Let's put our hands together. Let's welcome Pastor Charles, the ARP, whose the entire youth ministry and fellowship are under his department. Put your hands together for...
Thank you so much. We are highly blessed with the presentation by Isaiah. At first I was thrown off balance because of the intonation. But after 5 minutes, I caught up with you and I began to write quite a lot of what you were presenting to us. On a light note, Isaiah looks like us, but talks like them. And while Dr. Cole looks like them and talks like us. Am I the only one that has observed that? Thank you so much, President, for call to action, for your passion, particularly for the young people. You are liberating us from the traditional ways of doing things and making us see opportunities that are lying around us. I liken you to Paul. You are called, but I liken you to Paul because you have shown us that our elders can be seated while your Timothy is taking the stage. And that, to me, and I believe that should be also the thinking of most of us, your bringing of Isaiah to facilitate in such a manner builds confidence in us, the young, upcoming, leaders, that there is hope for us. What Isaiah has just done is showing us how these things can work. How also that there is a section of people who have made it, but they want others to make it. So we appreciate you, and we want to maximize all this time that you are around to get what we can get. Thank you so much, sir. Amen. To Pastor Thomas, we celebrate your life and also for the linkages that you are making for the young people to opportunities that we could not see because we don't know the window to open. You have opened a window for many of our young people, and we believe that many of us shall tell a story out of this arrangement, that you are key in linking us. Thank you so much, Sam. And to every one of us, opportunities can be around, but if you're not around, there will be no transformation. So thank you all for being around, and I believe out of what you have tasted today, you will also be around tomorrow, not just alone, but also tell others to also join, because we believe we move from one level of glory to the other. So tomorrow, much more details will be given to us. Thank you so much for being around. All this is under the guidance and the good heart of our father, Pastor Benjamin Andrew. So thank you so much for creating a platform where outsiders can be allowed to enter into church. Because the previous knowledge we have about church is that, okay, we are limited to our pastor must speak to us. Only our pastor and his elders and his deacons. The rest of them, they are not holy enough to speak to us. but your way of doing things has shown to us that we need to wake up, and we are waking up, and soon you'll be receiving testimonies of this impact you have created. Thank you so much. The Lord bless you. Now, together, let's put our hands together for Jesus as we welcome Pastor Thomas to guide us on the next portion. Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you so much. We are so honored. In fact, Sir Dr. Raja, when I spoke to Pastor Ben to say want to do this program, we are thinking of maybe going to government complex. And then he told me to say, no, why government complex? Let's do it here because, like he said, Zambia, 85% of people are in church. And they need this information. And if the church can catch this vision and begin to run with it, and then we are good starting point. And personally, I'm so grateful for Pastor Ben to allow us to be here and to sit here and to allow many, because I don't think maybe government complex or another place would have allowed these people to sit there. It would have been other politics. But by the grace of God, he has allowed us to sit here and to ensure that we start this movement. Thank you so much, sir, once again. We are so grateful. So we have a number of programs. Tomorrow at 13 hours, we are continuing. And that form, I want to emphasize, the president and the entire team attached so much value. So please make sure you submit that form and you leave it with us. We want to look at the data. And then tomorrow also we shall continue. And then we believe God that further announcement will be communicated. And then we also have a platform that we run with the students at the University of Zambia. Tomorrow, if you have not heard Dr. Raja speak, as a student, come to the University of Zambia at DOT Lecture Theatre at 15:30. The first time I took him to the University of Zambia when he came, and then when we linked up, he asked me to say, do you still talk to those students? I said, yes. And he's so passionate about, you remember Nehemiah? He said when he heard about how the Jerusalem, the walls have broken down, he said he wanted to go back. I believe God has been prompting him to come back, to come and see how he can be a blessing. So, sir, thank you so much. We are looking forward to hear you tomorrow, to all our students at the University of Zambia. And then we have extended also other students to see how we can able to move forward. And then to some of you who are part of I know there are a few people who are part of the CAN leadership. He's also going to be addressing you specifically of what the Lord has been doing. So, in the nutshell, sir, he's a man who is passionate about raising a new breed of leaders who are going to take their place in their business, in their career, and ensure that Africa is transformed. And we are happy, sir, to support the call that God has given you. So once more again, on behalf of God's servant, thank you for coming. The Lord bless you. And we are looking forward to meet you tomorrow again as we conclude this. Praise the Lord. Shall we rise up in our feet as we cross in a word of prayer? Once more again, shall we just appreciate God for the success of this meeting? Give him all the praise. If God was not on our side, it would not have been succeeded. Father, we thank you. We bless your name. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the seed that has been shown. Receive all the praise. Receive all the honor. In Jesus' mighty name, we have given thanks. On behalf of God's servant, this meeting is now officially declared closed, and we look forward to see you again. Shall we put our hand together for Jesus as we allow God's servant and everyone to come through? Yes, as our guests, please march through, and then we'll see you later. Thank you. Thank you. Please also remember, tomorrow our 3 Sunday services are on. If you have never been to Winners, we are inviting you to come tomorrow, 6:30. 8:30 and 10:30 hours. In case you don't have the form, just remain behind.